Hi guys, this is another part of my F124 career mode, my team career. So let's continue it, shall we? Let's just have a look at the difficulty again. So that's a bit too low for me. So 70 it is, all will do. So I'm just going to go ahead and get a setup if I haven't already. So yeah, I've got a setup now. So yeah, I'm not allowed to show the setup because all I'm gonna say is that it's from a Discord server and normally you have to pay, but if you're friends with someone that invites you, you can get it for free, I think it is, or whoever it was got me for it for free. So yeah, that's all I can say, and just genuinely, I'm not gonna ruin the chance because I don't want to get them in trouble. So, you know. So that's a mistake into turn one. I haven't braked when I should do. Anyway, now I've set my lap, I'm gonna go on to the timing board, and I'm just gonna... It's not a surprise Verstappen's got the fastest lap, to be honest, but, you know. Now Piastri's got the fastest lap. Yeah, no, in the end, I only got 2 tenths quicker, which was only good enough for third, so I do feel like I got a decent lap, but I don't know what decent pace is for Monza yet. So, you know, 123s, is that decent? I don't know. I'll have to see. So, yeah. Now I've seen my teammates set a good lap into the 22s. Now I'm the only man that has not set a lap yet, but there might be a few more people that go out for another lap. And now Verstappen set the fastest lap, which, you know, Hamilton P2 is pretty decent, so, you know. Yeah, no, I've had a terrible lap so far, so, yeah. Yeah, I had a terrible lap. That was the worst lap you've seen. Yeah, that was not even good enough for 21. So, yeah. Let's have a look at the comparison. Yeah, 4.1 seconds off. Not good. So hopefully I can make up for that massively in the race, because, you know, I need to make up massively in the race, otherwise this is going to be a bad weekend for my team if I don't manage to make up for it in the race. So one shot quali, always a good thing, because you've got one lap. If you screw it up, you're going to be at the back of the grid, you know. So there's a skill there where you have to be able to perfect it and push to your limit to get the best lap without invalidating. We've just kind of seen a little bit of my setup, but it's not the end of the world, because I've only shown one bit of it by mistake, but you know. $26.14. Yeah, so my teammate's 5 tenths behind me, but I've kind of screwed it up there. But I'm still somehow ahead, so you know, I suppose maybe BA aren't not as close as I thought they were. They might have gained a couple tenths maybe. I'll have to have a look and see in this sector. 53.5. $27.2. Yeah, so we gained 3 tenths on me. I'll be surprised if in more than a second. No, just under a second. So, you know, that just shows that, you know, so, you know, at the end of the day, right, I'm only a 16-year-old person. In my league, I might be pretty decent, but in terms of BAI, everyone does tend to drive. I don't know. Some people might only drive 80%, and they're 2 times my skill level, you know? So in terms of that, I don't really know. But what I can tell you is I'm always going to make sure, I'm always going to do my best to not make mistakes. But I can't always guarantee that I won't make mistakes. So yeah, 100%, and then that is, I'd say that's around 50% wear. so hard, and then soft. What I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try the hard to soft strategy. I feel like the hard to soft strategy is a good strategy because you start on the. It might have a least pace, but you can try and overcut everyone, and then you go on to the fastest tyre straight after. So I feel like that's why it's a good strategy. And you can see people have obviously got me off the line because I'm on the slowest tyre of the 3 slicks. So obviously I'm going to get overtaken on my line. I waste no time and straight away I go for the overtake again. So the plan now I think is just to try and pull away. Me and my teammate just pull away, and maybe I can bump draft him as well. Maybe help him get that extra pace by bump drafting him to give him that advantage when I bump draft him. You know, I'm basically playing team orders right now. I'm trying to hold Leclerc off, so when he goes to pit, hopefully Leclerc is a decent gap behind him. Whilst I'm trying to also keep close enough to my teammate so that hopefully I can pass him when I pit. I do feel like Oscar Piastri is eventually going to leave McLaren if they keep favouring Lando, just because, like, for example, no driver wants to be second man, and one always looked at to follow instructions and let the teammate by, just so he can maybe win the, maybe he can be a bit more safe for his championship. Maybe, there's a slight risk of the second one not letting his teammate through because he's got the rivals right on him, all the people close to him in the championship that he needs to beat, because that could potentially lose that second driver one of their wins he deserved. But this race has gone pretty well for me so far, I would say. So, obviously the leader my teammate doesn't have the biggest gap, but I feel like a part of where I get in the gap is where I maybe slow down on purpose on the apex or in the middle of a track to try and slow down like that so we can get a gap. Brake a little bit more through some of the corners like that, because now he's getting a very bigger gap. Now I'm just going to go full attack mode now to get a position back. And he's gained about 2 seconds on us in a few corners now, because I've gone full defense mode, or full, mode, so that I can get my teammate a gap. And now I'm not going for good pace, I'm going for defending, so we can have a good gap, so when he pits, hopefully he comes out relatively. Oh no, Leclerc's going in for a stop now. Lando Norris and a McLaren, that's an interesting driver move, isn't it? That's the thing, these transfers are not designed to be realistic. Look, Fernando Alonso in a McLaren, right? Just think about how crazy that sounds. Fernando Alonso is an average driver. He ain't any god, bro. He's not any good driver. He might be worth a good couple million if he can get some podiums every now and then. But, he's not got anything too special. So... You know, now Hamilton is in P4 and he's got quite a gap to P5. So let me just have a look. So I will be doing 5 laps. So on the soft, just I think is a good enough amount. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it. You know, I might actually push it 1 more lap just to try and, you know, I'm gonna go for the risky approach and go for 1 extra lap because P5 has got 22 seconds. And yeah, I think this was the lap actually. So, you know, now I think about it, I might actually go for the pits on lap 9. Now I'm going to go for it on lap 9. Never mind. See, my theory was just correct. You see, I had a feeling it was going to come out in P2, and I was correct, just correct. No, because Leclerc are right on my tail. So, well, not literally because I'm a human, I don't have a tail, but you know what I mean. And now because I've got the softs, I can set the fastest laps now. So, you know, I should be able to catch up quite fast. So 3 laps to go now. Well, technically 4, because 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, but hang on, is it technically like when you cross the line off? So you start at 49, yeah, and then when you cross the line, is that the race over, or do you do lap 50 and then when you're about to cross the line for lap 51, that's when the race ends? Because I feel like it's a, you know, I don't really know how we do that. At this point, I'm just going to have to take this 3-second, man. I'm just going to have to accept it. Because I've completely messed up a break and I've just made a stupid mistake. So, you know. The thing is, right, you know, if an F1 car was like 200 kilograms, how fast could they lap Austria? That's the question, you know, because they could be reaching that. I feel like because they're lighter, their acceleration would be like 2 times as quick, or like 3-4 times as quick. So instead of reaching 200 in 4 seconds, you'd be reaching it in like 2 seconds, maybe even 1.9 or 1.8 if that car has got the acceleration. But then maybe as a thing to even it out, the braking is purposely slower maybe. So then people who have got the slower acceleration have got the better braking. So maybe in terms of pace where they gain the lap time, the people with the slower, better brakes is in the corners and the heavy braking zones. So then, for example, into turn 1, you will gain time on someone over that prioritizes top speed, you know, and then they lose 3-4 tenths in the corners alone. So then if it's a track like Monza, you've got the corners which have got a mix of heavy and light braking zones, and then you've got lots of straights. So then if it's a track like Las Vegas, the people that prioritise cornering would just be a sitting duck compared to that one person that has got top speed, for example, or one team that's got top speed. today beast racing is going to pick up maximum points. It's going to be a lot closer than I wanted the result to be to third, but that's just how it played out. You know, some teams, as long as the team gets the result done cleanly, at least relatively cleanly, they don't mind if they pick up a few penalties in the race. You know, if it's where they ram someone off a road, that's different, but you know, if it's maybe where they cut the corner by mistake, maybe they, you know, I don't know, don't you think? Austria turn 1, they exceeded the track limits without realising. As long as they can do it clearly and not get too many penalties, I'd be happy. Hang on, I'm just going to have a look to see why the fat man account's been suspended anyway. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. But before I go, I'm just going to have a look at some upgrades I can get done. Powertrain. Anyway, so yeah, peace. So activities, let's just fill in this. So yeah, peace out and bye.